The following presentation is brought to you by our sponsor, Smunchy Games. Please visit our sponsor at www.smunchygames.com. You can purchase Pokemon plushies, beanies, and Pokecrate boxes at that website. Please enter Tesla at checkout. That's Tesla, T-E-S-L-A, all lowercase letters. You have 5% off of your purchase. SmunchyGames.com.
What is going on, Mousetrap? It is a Teslamouse here being a Wi-Fi Battle against a fellow streamer, Rush Plays. I challenged last week to a battle. As you can see, he is bringing a team from Sun and Moon that doesn't have any Ultra Beast, Legends, or Tapus on it, and I'm bringing a Hail team that has 2 Tapus and 1 Ultra Beast on it. Now, first you may be thinking, well, this is going to be an easy match for you because you got 2 Tapus and you got that very bulky-ass Ultra Beast Celesteela. But it's really not that simple because, honestly, Celesteela can't really deal much on his team. Like, Celesteela, Jolteon, Torkoal, and Alolan Ninetales take care of it. The only things I can really deal with using Celesteela is pretty much his Trevenant and Minior. But anyways, we are bringing our Hail team consisting of TK Ryle, the Tapu Koko, Aqua Spirit, the Tapu Fini, Zero Fine, the Alolan Ninetales, the Departed, the Alolan Ninetales, Freezing Beast, the Alolan Sandslash, and the Bell's Toll, the Celesteela. My opponent's running Torkoal, Trevenant, Celesteela, Jolteon, Minior, and Alolan Ninetales. What I need to do in this battle is make sure that I preserve my Hail Center as long as possible so I can get the Slush Rush sweep with Sandslash. For those who don't know, Sandslash and Ninetales both got Alolan forms in this gen that give them uses on the Hail team. Alolan Ninetales has Snow Warning as its hidden ability, which basically sets Hail immediately upon the field. And Alolan Sandslash got a new ability called Slush Rush, which is basically Sand Rush, but in the Hail. So that doubles its speed in the Hail. So I do have my Tapu Fini as my defaulter in case he has some way to set rocks, so it doesn't look like he would, except for the Minior, but unless he's leading with it, it's not going to be a rock setter, most likely. With that being in mind, guys, let's get right into the battle and see how I fare against this team that my opponent is bringing. I am going to lead off with TK Ryle, the Tapu Koko. My opponent's going to lead off with his Torkoal, which is going to get the draw immediately. I'm going to go for the U-turn, expecting a possible switch into Alolan Ninetales, although I could have went for Hidden Power Ground, but I didn't want to risk him not switching on going for a Lava Plume and obliterating my Tapu Koko. So I'm going to go right for a resisted U-turn. My opponent is going to hard switch his Torkoal out and go to Louise, the Alolan Ninetales, and U-turn's going to do like no damage to it, but my Tapu Koko is going to suffer the Life Orb. In fact, I believe the Life Orb damage is more than the actual U-turn damage. So going to Aqua Spirit, the Tapu Fini here, I'm going to get the Misty Terrain off. I expect him to switch into something like Trevenant, so I go for the Moonblast instead. And Moonblast is going to hit Trevenant for a decent amount of damage, but not too much. So it takes about 25%, 30% roughly. I'm going to hard switch my Tapu Fini. I'm going to go into the Bell's Toll, Celesteela, expecting maybe a Horn Leech or something, but he goes to Leech Seed, and that means I have no choice to switch my Celesteela L unless I want to take some damage. So this Trevenant gets sold to Leech Seed. He's going to withdraw his Trevenant and go right into Louise, the Alolan Ninetales. I do hard switch my Bell's Toll out, and I do go into Zero Fine, the Alolan Ninetales. The Alolan Ninetales is going to get its Hail going, and this is not really a good matchup for me because my Alolan Ninetales cannot do anything to the Marowak, and Marowak's going to obliterate it for Flare Blitz. So going to Tapu Fini here, and my opponent's going to hard switch his Alolan Marowak out and go into Torkoal. Maybe he was expecting a Blizzard or something, or maybe Hidden Power Ground or Water or something, so he gets Drought up, but he does get the Drought going, which is going to negate my Hail. He switches into Alolan Ninetales as I do go for a Taunt, expecting him to possibly go for like Stealth Rocks. I'm not even sure if Torkoal gets Stealth Rocks this gen. But I do go for a Surf. Does not that much damage due to the draw. He's going for a Shadow Bone, which is going to probably do a bit more than Surf did to his Alolan Ninetales. My Tapu Fini is going to get healed with leftovers. And my opponent's going to hard switch his Alolan Ninetales out and go into his Trevenant here, as I do go for a Surf. So the Surf is going to do like 0 damage to Trevenant, being that's resistant and it's in the drought, but my Tapu Fini does get healed with leftovers at least. So I'm going to hard switch Tapu Fini out. I'm going to go right into the Bell's Toll, the Celesteela, and my opponent is going to go for a Leech Seed, predicting the switch. Because again, why would I keep Tapu Fini out against the Trevenant when Tapu Fini cannot do anything to it? So the Bell's Toll is seeded, and Trevenant's going to get some HP recovery here. I'm actually going to go for a Leech Seed, expecting him to switch into Alolan Marowak or Torkoal, but he does not. He goes to Will-O-Wisp instead. So my Leech Seed was completely pointless, and my Celesteela is going to take some unnecessary burn damage along with some unnecessary Leech Seed damage. So Trevenant is eating the HP up for my Celesteela, and this is really difficult because I need to find a way to get my Hail up and start sweeping with Sandslash, but he has a Drought Torkoal completely negate my Hail. So I go to Zero Fine my Alolan Ninetales, get the Hail going, and my opponent is going to go for a Leech Seed, but my Ninetales does avoid the attack. So if Trevenant gets bought by Hail, he's on hard switch to Trevenant out, going to Torkoal again, as I do go for a Blizzard. I mean, I could have hard switched out into Tapu Fini, but there's really no point. So Blizzard is going to do about roughly 25% to Torkoal, and Torkoal is going to heal the leftovers. So fortunately, this Torkoal does not have the Heat Rock on it. I'm going to hard switch my Ninetales out. I'm going to go right into my Departed, the Alolan Marowak. It goes for a Yawn, which makes me really uncomfortable because I don't want my Marowak to fall asleep or anything. So I'm going to hard switch the Departed out. Don't want to fall asleep. I'm going to go into Aqua Spirit the Tapu Fini, as my opponent is going to go for a Protect, I believe. Yes, he goes for Protect. And my Tapu Fini does get some free leftovers recovery here. And Torkoal gets healed leftovers as well. My opponent's going to hard switch his Torkoal. He's going to go into Trevenant, as I do believe I go for a Taunt. No, go for a Moonblast. Does some more damage to the Trevenant. Knocks it down to about yellow. Almost had the Citrus Berry activate, which would not have been great. I'm going to go for a Taunt, expecting to go for like Leech Seed, predicting my switch, and I am correct on that. So he does not get his Leech Seed going. And it's forced to go for a Shell Claw or Horn Leech. I'm going to hard switch Aqua Spirit out, and I'm going to go right into Freezing Beast to Sandslash, expecting the Horn Leech. But he does go for a Shell Claw instead, which is not resisted, unfortunately, because as of Gen 6 and further, Steel does not resist Ghost anymore. So he goes to the Torkoal at the Dracon. I go for the Ice Little Crash, which is not going to do a lot to Torkoal. It's going to do like very little. My Sandslash gets hurt with the Life Orb, so this is not the case of the Life Orb doing more than the actual attack did to Torkoal. Anyways, I'm going to hard switch my Alolan Sandslash out. I'm going to go into Aqua Spirit the Tapu Fini, expecting a possible Lava Plume, get the Misty Surge up, and my opponent is going to go for a Lava Plume. Fortunately though, with the Misty Terrain going on, my Tapu Fini cannot get burned, but Aqua Spirit does get healed leftovers. Torkoal is healed leftovers as well. And my opponent is going to, I'm going to hard switch Tapu Fini out, predicting the switch into his Trevenant. Go to Alolan Marowak. He goes for Protect instead, and his Torkoal gets healed with leftovers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to basically go for a Shadow Bone to see what I can do. Maybe I'll switch in like, fuck if I know, his Alolan Marowak or something, which there would be no point to. He goes for a Yawn. Unfortunately for him, my Marowak is not going to be put to sleep under the Misty Terrain, even with Yawn. He goes for Protect. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I keep Marowak in. So the Misty Terrain is going to save my Alolan Marowak from being put to sleep. I'm going to go for an Earthquake here. Now I did get the defense drop on the Torkoal, and the Earthquake does do an okay amount of damage, but still not that much because Torkoal is physically defensive. I mean physically defensive. So it goes to a Lava Plume. I'm not really sure why he did that. Maybe he was expecting me to switch out or something into Ninetales get the Hail going. But I'm not ready to lose my Ninetales, not when Torkoal's alive. So I go for a Shadow Bone. I'm going to hit the Torkoal again for some decent damage. He goes for a Yawn, which is going to try to put my Alolan Marowak to sleep again. And my Alolan Marowak does get healed leftovers. And his Torkoal gets healed with leftovers as well. So, I'm a hard switch to Departed out because there's no more terrain protecting my Alolan Marowak from going to sleep. I'm going to go to Tapu Fini. Aqua Spirit the Tapu Fini is out. Get the Misty Terrain going. He's going to Yawn again, predicting the switch. But fortunately, it's not really going to do too much to my Tapu Fini because Tapu Fini is not going to be put to sleep. So Torkoal gets healed leftovers. I'm going to hard switch my Aqua Spirit out to go to Departed, expecting a switch into Trevenant. He switches out, he goes into Jolteon here, and I'm like, what can I do here? I kind of want to go for a Shadow Bone. I could have went for Flare Blitz, but I'm going for a Shadow Bone, expecting him to switch into Torkoal. He goes into Trevenant instead, and the ironic part is if I went for a Flare Blitz, it would have killed Trevenant, and I wouldn't have to worry about the Citrus Berry nonsense. So, Citrus Berry does heal Trevenant up. He harvests it again, so he has 2 Citrus Berry healings in 1 turn. That's very unfortunate for me. I'm going to hard switch to Departed out. I'm going to go into Zero Fine the Alolan Ninetales and get the Hail going, as my opponent is going to go for the Leech Seed on my Alolan Ninetales, which is very unfortunate for me. So his Trevenant gets hurt by the hail. Alolan Ninetales gets hurt by the Leech Seed. He gets healed somewhat by Leech Seed as well. And he's on hard switches Trevenant going right into Torkoal to do go for a Blizzard. Torkoal's gonna get the Drought going, and unfortunately now that hail's gone, my Blizzard's not 100% accurate, thus it does miss the Torkoal, so that's very unfortunate. So Torkoal gets healed leftovers, and it's gonna get healed by the Leech Seed recovery against the Trevenant. And now Torkoal's going back to full health pretty much, and that resets my entire progress in getting rid of this thing. So going to Tapu Fini, which is gonna get the Misty Terrain going. And my opponent is going to hard switch out and go into Trevenant, expecting that switch. So that was a good play on his part. My Tapu Fini gets healed leftovers. I'm gonna go for I believe we go for a taunt with Tapu Fini, expecting another Leech Seed. I do get the taunt off, but my opponent does go for a Shadow Claw, expecting a switch here. The Shadow Claw does hit my Tapu Fini for a decent amount of damage. Still, I'm a physically defensive Tapu Fini, so I'm gonna switch Aqua Spirit out. I'm gonna go right into a Freezing Beast, the Sandslash, expecting a Shadow Claw. Expecting a Horn Leech, sorry. It goes a Horn Leech, doesn't do a lot of damage. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a Swords Dance here, expecting a possible switch into his Torkoal. I do get the +2 in attack. My opponent's going for another Horn Leech. I don't know, maybe I was expecting to switch into a Tapu Fini, expecting his switch into Torkoal. But here I'm going to go for Iso Crash, and my opponent is going to leave his Trevenant in on it. Surprisingly enough, he does. And Iso Crash is definitely going to KO the Trevenant. So that is one nuisance off of his team that I need to worry about. So Freezing Beast takes some late forward recoil. Now comes Minya the Cell. Since there's no hail going on, I can't outspeed this thing, definitely. Even if Salzal had a Moss Nature, I would not be able to outspeed it. So going to the Departed here. My point is going to go for Flamethrower on my Alolan Marowak, which does not too much damage because I'm especially defensive Alolan Marowak. And my opponent is going to withdraw his Salzal and go into Torkoal here. As he gets the Drought off, and I do go for a Shadow Bone. I guess I could have went for Earthquake as well. I don't really know why I didn't, but not that really matters. I guess I want to get Shadow Bone going so I could possibly lower my opponent's defense. I'm going to go for another Shadow Bone, and it's going to do okay my damage, even though it's really not that okay, due to the physically defensive nature of Torkoal. So Torkoal gets healed leftovers. I believe I'm going to switch into Tapu Fini here. So I'm going to switch the party out. I'm going to go into Aqua Spirit to Tapu Fini here. My opponent is going to switch into Jolteon next. Also I got the Misty Surge, which is a really good play on his part because honestly, Shadow Bone would not kill Jolteon. If I stay with a Alolan Marowak, after Shadow Bone, it would be put to sleep. So I'm going to hard switch my Tapu Fini out. I'm going to go right into the Departed here, hoping that maybe I'll go for like a Thunderbolt or a Volt switch. But unfortunately that is not to be. It goes for Shadow Ball instead. And my Marowak, even with that being a possibly Choice Specs Jolteon, eats that Shadow Ball pretty well because I'm a special defensive one. So I'm expecting to live another one. I want to go for Flare Blitz, but he goes for a Shadow Ball and he gets a crit. Of all the times to get a critical hit, now is the time. So unfortunately, my switching to Torkoal and possibly the Jolteon is pretty much dead. So I'm going to go for a Zero Fine here, get the Snow Warding off. He's on hard switch his Jolteon out. He's not going for Volt Switch, so that tells me it's choice locked. He goes into Torkoal, and I do double out my Ninetales into Tapu Fini. So I do get Aqua Spirit back out. I do not want my Ninetales fainting right now. I do need it for later on, possibly. So he gets healed leftovers as Torkoal. And I'm going to go for a Surf. He's going to go for a Protect here, scouting out what I'm going to do. I have no reason not to go for Surf, to be completely honest with you. So Tapu Fini is back to full health now. Torkoal's going to heal the leftovers as well. It's creeping him back up to full health as well. That's really annoying because I want to get rid of this Torkoal so bad. So I go for a Surf, see how much damage I can do. It does a solid amount of damage. It goes for a Yawn. Now that Misty Terrain is gone, unfortunately, Tapu Fini can be put to sleep. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hard switch my Tapu Fini out, and I'm going to go right into TK Ryo, expecting a possible Protect here. Get the Electric Terrain going. He goes for the Lava Plume, unfortunately, which is very bad. Lava Plume in the sun. Unfortunately, it's not offensively invested, so it doesn't kill. I'm going to go for a Hidden Power Ground. My opponent is going to actually switch on Jolteon, expecting a Thunderbolt, which makes a lot of sense. Hidden Power Ground is going to hit Jolteon for a good amount of damage. I'm hoping I do win the speed tie here, but unfortunately for me, Raptor's Sun disappears. He's going to win the speed tie. He's going to Volt Switch and kill off my Tapu Koko. So now I'm like, frick, man, I'm in trouble. So Tapu Koko is down. Out comes Torkoal. So we get the Drought going again. I'm like, shit, man, shit. So as Torkoal is healed with the leftovers, I'm going to go to Aqua Spirit the Tapu Fini here just to get some Surfs off, because I don't think anything really wants to switch into Surf at this point in the game. So he's going to withdraw his Torkoal. He's going to go into Louise the Marowak. And I guess he's going to sack out the Marowak because he has no reason to keep it alive since my Tapu Koko is down. So I do get some Surfs off. I'm going to go for a second Surf on it. Due to the drought though, it's not going to do too much. He goes for a Shell Bone. I guess you just want to get some damage off on the Tapu Fini. And my defense unfortunately falls. So Aqua Spirit the Tapu Fini gets healed leftovers. My Aqua Spirit is going to go for another Surf, and that's going to hopefully knock out the Alolan Marowak, and it does. So Marowak is down. After the leftovers recovery, my opponent is going to go into his Mina the Celesteela. I'm like, I don't really want to deal with this right now, so I'm going to switch my Tapu Fini out. I'm going to go in Bill's Toll. Go to a Sludge Bomb. The Sunlight fades, fortunately, which is very timely for me, because now my Celesteela should live in a Flamethrower or something from it. He goes for a Flamethrower with his Celesteela, and my Celesteela does live at 21 HP, so I do go for a Leech Seed. So now what I want to do is play some Mind Games with him, like keep switching out to resisted and immune attacks. So Celesteela gets hurt by the Leech Seed. I'm actually going for a Protect here. After Celesteela gets healed the Leech Seed and Burn, I'm going to go for a Protect to sap some more health away from the Celesteela. So he's going to keep going for a Flamethrower. My Celesteela's going to heal the leftovers, and then the Leech Seed, and then it's going to take the burn damage, which is okay with me. I can just keep trying to play some Mind Games here. That's pretty much what I want to do. What I need to do here is play some Mind Games with him, make some plays here. So I'm going to Hard Switch the Bell's Toll. I'm going to go right into Aqua Spirit the Tapu Fini, get the Misty Terrain going, as my opponent is going to go for a Flamethrower. Now, after Flamethrower, my Tapu Fini will get some leftovers recovery, plus the Leech Seed recovery as well. So that's really good for me. So after Aqua Spirit gets healed with the Leech Seed, I'm going to Hard Switch my Aqua Spirit out, go back into the Bell's Toll expecting a Sludge Bomb, and my opponent is going to go for a Sludge Bomb, in fact. So Bell's Toll is going to heal leftovers, going to get hurt by the burn, but also going to get some health sap from Celesteela. Now the point of this is not to heal my Bell's Toll up, it should get some residual damage off on the Celesteela. So I'm going to go for Protect again. My opponent is going to go for the Flamethrower. And I really have to be careful because he might actually predict my switch into Tapu Fini. But honestly, I really have no other option but to go into Tapu Fini at this point. So Celesteela's down to like yellow health, it's below 50%, and Bellsoul actually has some HP, some good amount of HP left. He's actually Hard Switch Celesteela and going to Jolteon here, as I do go for a Protect. And he did predict that protect well, and the Bellsoul does get hurt by Burn. So I'm going to go for Protect again, just to see what he wants to do. Maybe he'll go for a Shadow Ball or something, even though there's really no reason to. He goes for a Volt Switch, and I'm like, at this point, you know, I'm going to just sack off my Celesteela. I can't really do anything to Jolteon, and I have no other switch-ins for it. So he goes for a Volt Switch, that's going to knock out Celesteela, and Celesteela is knocked out. So Jolteon's going to go back to his party. It's going to switch in with Minior, and at this point, I'm like, I'm going to send out my Alolan Ninetales, because I want to kill this thing, and I do get the Snow wearing off, and worst case scenario, if he's sashed, the hail will kill it. But I go for a Blizzard, hoping that he's not sashed, and he is actually probably White Herb, so that's going to knock out his Minior. So out comes Celesteela here. He's going to take some hail damage after I switch out Ninetales into Aqua Spirit the Tapu Fini. Get the Mystic Terrain going. He goes for a Flamethrower on the switch. He should went for Sludge Bomb, to be honest, because there was no reason to. I guess maybe he thought it would switch into like Sandslash or something to get that Slush Rush, which is very fair. So I'm going to get healed leftovers. I was debating switching into Sandslash, expecting the Sludge Bomb, but I figured it'd stay in. And here's the clutch moment. He goes for a Flamethrower and he mispredicts. He overpredicts here, which will allow my Tapu Fini to live and go for a Surf, thus knocking out Salazar. And that's very clutch, because had I switched into Sandslash, my Sweeper and the Hail would have been knocked out, definitely. So Celesteela is KO'd, and that is really good for me, as my Tapu Fini does get hurt by the hail, but gets healed leftovers. So now I believe we have, I have 3 Pokemon left. He has 2, he has Jolteon, and he has Torkoal. I have my Tapu Fini, not until his Thunderbolt kills it. I have my Ninetales and my Sandslash left, so Jolteon kills the Tapu Fini, which is okay with me. I'm going to go right into Freezing Beast to Sandslash. I'm going to go for the Life Orb EQ, as my opponent is going to Hard Switch his Jolteon out, probably expecting a Ice Cold Crash or something, but EQ is going to hit Torkoal very hard with the Life Orb boosted Earthquake, even with that physical defense. Alolan Sandslash does a number on it, so it knocks it down to about like 1 HP or 2 HP maybe. Unfortunately, the hail does disappear. So Torkoal gets healed by leftovers. He's going to go for a second Earthquake. That's going to knock out Torkoal. Now all that's left is this Jolteon versus my Sandslash and Ninetales. So I got the Hail Setter and the Hail Sweeper left on my team. So out comes Jolteon. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to sack off my Ninetales. Now I could have sacked off Sandslash True and let the Ninetales live a Thunderbolt and then go for Blizzard and finish off the Jolteon. However, I did not want to risk him going for a Thunderbolt when Ninetales is my only mon left and paralyzing my Ninetales and thus screwing me over, possibly. So I went for the safer route, which is basically to get my preserve my Sweeper, let my Ninetales die, set the Hail, and Sandslash will come out and clean up the Ninetales. So after the Hail, let's send a Freezing Beast to Sandslash, go for a Life Orb boosted EQ in the Hail, and that will be GG. So pretty much that was a game of cat and mouse. The Trojan and the Torkoal are very annoying. I really need to get the Torkoal out of the way early on so I can actually sweep, but fortunately he saw right through that and he preserved his Torkoal as long as possible. Although him staying in with the Trojan on my Icicle Crush really did help because had I not killed the Trojan early on, it would have been like a really long match and I might have lost. He did make an over prediction there, I'm assuming, or maybe just didn't want to switch his Torkoal in, taking like a +2 Earthquake. So I'm not really sure if he expected the EQ early on, so yeah. Another play that really helped me win the match was him over-predicting the Celesteela and going for a Flamethrower. Because I did actually debate going to Sandslash at that point. I wanted to go to Sandslash expecting the Sludge Bomb, but my gut told me that I might as well preserve the Sandslash in case, and Sandslash was basically my win con of the match. It proved to be a very good prediction on my part and a very bad over-prediction on his part that sealed me the match. Because his Celesteela died, and my Sandslash was still alive and able to clean up later on. Now again, as I mentioned before, the move where I kept Sandslash alive towards the end against the Jolteon and put Ninetales out there was a strategic move because I figured that the worst case scenario, I basically lose my Ninetales and can clean up the Jolteon with my Sandslash and both die and I still win 0-0 due to Jolteon fainting first. Now if I preserve the Ninetales and he hit a Thunderbolt and I got fully paralyzed after it, I would have definitely lost. There's no way I would have won that. But fortunately, I did make the right call, and even though neither of us had a Pokemon at the end, I did manage to pick up the win thanks to Alolan Sandslash's ability Slush Rush. Heal is a pretty good, got some pretty good support this gen. Still not as good as the other weather effects, but still, Heal in the pre-bank meta can be pretty vital. I'm not really sure how it'll do when when Pokemon Bank update comes out, but until then I really do enjoy using this Hail team. And I do feel that I played a pretty solid game all around, and Rush plays did play good as well. Even though I did not have any Ultra Beasts, Legends, or Tapus on his team was really, really tough for me to take down because my Celesteela could not touch 4 of his Pokemon. Like Jolteon, Celesteela, Torkoal, Alolan Marowak, they all check Celesteela pretty well. The only ones that are remotely affected were the Treven and the Minior, but Treven got the Will-O-Wisp off and can be pretty annoying with the Leech Seed, so obviously Celesteela was not a really solid switch in on the Treven. But regardless, good game to Rush plays. Thank you very much for the battle if you do watch this. And for the rest of you, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more fantastic Wi-Fi Battle action on this channel. And I will catch you on the flip side. And remember, stay salty, Rage Quitters. Stay salty.